celebrate the 50th anniversary right here at Vancouver Show Park. Riders, trainers, and spectators, would you please will stand if you're able for the play of the Canadian national anthem.
iPhone 2. I can get it later. There's no Canada for nice shot.
It's time. The rails are up. The course is set. 46 trips to see. We're going to get down to it here at Vancouver Show Park.
Well, a very good afternoon and a beautiful afternoon here at T-Bird. And for the concluding of the week, two-star Grand Prix, it is a ranking class at $38,500 as part of this closing part of the Canadian Premier, part of 2 weeks of five-star competition here at T-Bird at Langley, just outside Vancouver. And what a wonderful day for sport. Out here on the grass in the Fort Arena, and with a course and set by our course designer Megan Rawlins, and accompanied by Olaf Peterson Jr. Set track here with a time allowed of 75 seconds. Well, with a total of 13 numbered obstacles on the course, 16 jumping efforts, that's what faces those coming up into our two-star Grand Prix. 45 in all will face the test, and joining me is Hannah Robson alongside to talk us through this, because we start off with a whole good list of those that have been there and done it too, which is going to be really interesting. Some young horses coming through, some of our top riders, and also some of the younger riders coming into this class as well. It's a great mix, and Patricia Pascal, the World Championship rider, is the one that will begin proceedings with the Mexican rider, with Alicia Santa Rosa as our first. Of course, went to those World Championships with Babel, part of our five stars yesterday as well. And here he is as our starting combination.
Yes, Patricio, quite the stalwart of the Mexican team. Been a fantastic competitor for them in numerous championships, and was a rider that we saw, as you mentioned, on our team competitions. Team competition on Friday. Didn't quite go his way in the Grand Prix, the five-star Grand Prix yesterday, but Alicia Santa Rosa, another successful partner for him, and one that he has been competing in the five stars. They placed 5th in April in a five-star jump-off class in San Miguel, and then had 2 wins down in Quapexpan in March. This combination also contested the two-star Grand Prix here at T-Bird last year and placed 17th.
Comes down on the 8 strides from 9-8 to the triple combination. Through there, 2 strides and 1 on the distance. Rather, 1 stride in, 2 strides on the way out. A little bit of curve there on the 8 as well to 10. And then a roll back here to the triple bar. Of course, we saw a triple bar playing a big part yesterday. And then an opposite test with a little vertical skinny here. And should be potentially 6 to the last, and just makes a little move to get it going. And it was good stuff, 75.61. Good one from our first to go there, but it is one for time, 75.61. Interesting, the time's going to be very close indeed on just the one time for Patricia Pascal and Alicia Santa Rosa. And for him, well, certainly moving around there, but obviously leaves a little bit left to just squeeze up to get inside that time allowed. Darren Lindow of Calgary, Alberta, Dorothy Dillon's Buddy Bounce.
Yeah, Darren, another rider that we saw quite extensively last season in the two-star competitions. This pair have had a bit of a break from international competition. Their last start was in February 2002, so not a horse that we've seen particularly recently. 2022, sorry, not 2002, that would be quite impressive. And they were 7th in a 3-star Grand Prix down in Thermal. But they've jumped well here before, placed in the top 10 in a 3-star Grand Prix here, so it's a ring that's been good for them in the past. Just struggling there through the double.
Just on the 5 strides between those. Again, pretty standard distances for those. There's a few to play around with. Maybe after the triple combination they get a little bit tighter in there. This is where the time's going to play a part here as well. They just want to be squeezing down those lines as much as possible. 2-stride distance there. And then, yeah, he gets on a good inside line there to get squeezed down to the 7 strides. A little bit wide. Got to get the power up to the triple, but looks like they're on the time to good way. But of course they've had those early rails. A couple of them down, in fact, on the 8 for them. Time-wise, getting close. Going to be 74.15, so just inside. In fact, 8 there were the 2 parts of the double. So 8 for Darren Glynn and Buddy Bounce from that point of view.
Yeah, I just struggled to get across the fence and over the back bar. That's the problem at the A element of the double there. So we're still looking for our first clear. So seeing both riders, we've had one time fault so far and one being pretty close to the time allowed as well. Could see the time be quite influential. And that was something that we saw in the 5-star Grand Prix yesterday as well.
Mandy Porter now, and Mandy from California with Risen EQ Holdings. Cado Z, the owners from Castle Rock, Colorado. It was interesting, that last combination, also close on the time. Took a couple of the tighter lines. Not left a lot on the bone there.
Yeah, this is a fairly new ride for Mandy. It's one that she's had since February of this year. This horse was with Jana Vargas in the past, but they've already been going very well together. Another problem at the double.
Yeah, it just gets a little forward on the way out there, just clipping the front part of the oxer. But for the 5.
But a good recent record. They've been in the top 10 twice in April in 3-star competitions. And they're about 40% of the time clear in their partnership together so far. Really been getting the miles on the clock. We've got a few fairly new combinations to come in this class, but this pair have really been getting miles on the clock and getting to know each other well.
Most now just squeezing it down from that combination down to the 7 strides, and here with the 1 rail. Time-wise as well, they're going to be over that too. And 4 jumping, 75.85, and that's going to be a little bit to add for time as well from that point of view. Total of 5. This time allowed off 75, so 1 over that. So Mandy Porter and Cado Z on the 5. Patricia Pascal on the 1 time. Darren Glynn was inside, but with the 1 fence down with Buddy Bounce. Long way to go in this strong field for the 2-star Grand Prix this afternoon. It's a ranking class, 38,500. Alicia Gadban-Lewis of Delta here in British Columbia. Caipirinha de Rêve. But another rider from Canada who's been getting more and more experience in these big classes as well. Again, we'll see here a few more of the newer rides coming through.
Yes, so this is another new ride. As you say, we've seen Alicia really coming through the levels more consistently. This is a horse that she's only just started to ride in FEI competition this month. The horse was with a few different riders actually on its CV. One was Félicie Bertrand of France, Ransom Rombard of the USA, and Nicolas Duhamel of France as well. She took this horse to San Juan Capistrano earlier in the month and finished with 3 time penalties in one class and then had a couple for time and offence down in another. So it'd be interesting to see how they fare against the clock here, because time penalties on their record so far, but no doubt Alicia's perhaps taken her time and worked on jumping the fences cleanly.
Shot through there. Just keeping a bit of pace down this line. Just moving up for that 5. It's going to be a standard 5 down there. They're all going to be doing that, but again, just a fraction forward coming out of the triple combination. Let's get a little more centered line to 10. Some of them just cutting that slightly to the right to make up a little bit of ground.
And she's gone quite wide coming back to the triple bar.
Yeah, time-wise not going to make the time either.
No.
As you say, it's also a development stage for some of these combinations, but they're under quite a bit of time pressure here. Last fence goes as well, 79-12, finishing on 4 there for Alicia Gadban-Lewis and Katerina Dorev. So finishing with 2 for them. So 8 and plus the time as well takes them to 11 at 70. And looks like they've made an adjustment to the time allowed. So now with Patrizio Pascal given the clear, and a few of those adjusted, Mandy Porter to the 4, Darren Lynn on 8.
The next entry in on course is entry number 3.
So that will give them a little bit of breathing space. Susan Artes now, and Alex Fargo of California Sunshine. We've got our own Vancouver Sunshine this afternoon from that point of view. Of course, California has it in oodles, but
we have also had it in oodles this week. It's been a beautiful week and another stunning day, and lovely to have that as we watch this class on this lovely grass ring. So far, Susan's jumped very well with this horse. They've been in the top 10 4 times. And their clear round rate's about 86%. They placed 10th in a 3-star Grand Prix in Thermal in February of this year as well. Nice to add another top 10 finish in a Grand Prix to the year's record. But they've been pretty consistent.
so time adjusted to 77 seconds from that point of view. Should just open the door for them. Just gets too close up to that vertical, delicate little vertical to hold them up to, and so it's 75.98 inside the time on the 4 there for Susan Artes, and with the ride of California Sunshine. Going quite nicely down here, nice little gymnastic run down the triple combination.
Yeah, and that final skinny upright then to the line down to this green coloured oxer to finish. It does require quite a lot of accuracy, and particularly at this late stage of the course, as they might be starting to get a little bit tired. I think we could see that be a quite influential spot around this course. Another new combination now.
Yes, it is. Ali Ramsey and Call for More for Ali from Victoria, British Columbia. Also been jumping as part of the 5 stars here this week for the Canadian.
Yeah, she jumped really well in the 5-star qualifier. Was
another combination getting the outing here, but certainly has some scope there.
yeah, very much so. This horse was with Antonia Anderson, and this is Ali's first FEI show with the horse. Antonia took the horse down on the Sunshine Tour in Spain earlier on this year, and jumped a few of the 2-star Grand Prix there. But yeah, very much has the scope. Ali looking to continue a good run.
So just plotting their way around with this new ride, and again it's about an educational round for them.
I have not
Pops through. He's on the 8th. They've got a little bit more breathing space now with a couple of seconds added. It doesn't sound like much. It does give you those extra couple of strides around the course. Looking good. There we go. Ali Ramsey and Call for More will certainly be looking for more later because they produce a good round, but it is going to be 5 in total on 81.10 as their final time, so they are going to pick up some time in there for them. But
yeah, she was certainly taking it steady, wasn't she? And as you say, a really good educational round and a good round to build the confidence. Actually clear jumping around here.
I know, very impressive, very nice. One to look out for the future. Certainly part of the early education of Call for More. As we go on to Nikolai Heinroos now and Cape Town, owned by Patricia Pascal of Mexico for the Danish rider. He's down in Mexico City. So also competing at the shows down there over the last few months. Nations Cup rider and the production of some good horses both here and in Europe, making the move across to the Americas.
Well, this is a young horse. It's an 8-year-old, and this is its first FEI show, its first international competition for the horse. And you just see they're just working on keeping that consistent rhythm around the turns, and
it's a little loose through the double, but again, this is one where Nikolai is giving a good confidence building round. Right, lending support to the horse, some good education, certainly got some ability.
Got the ability and important to keep that flowing momentum despite the fence down. That's really what they're doing here. Again, it looks like a real confidence building round. And sometimes it's also about getting the horses used to this kind of ring as well, isn't it?
Certainly not a bad round. It's going to be time to add there as well, 81.58, so finishing on 13 with the time added in there as well for Nikolai Heinroos of Denmark and Cape Town. Honest Whale, a rider up in our world's top 10. Castellano, based down in Wellington, Florida. It'd be really interesting to see this one. It's a horse that's been, again, on the development stage for a potential 5-star ride. Jumping through some of these 2 stars now on the steps up the progression ladder. With Catby in at the top of the string, but this one looked pretty impressive through some of the classes in Florida earlier on this year as well.
Yeah, they had a 3-star Grand Prix win in April Also jumped in the Kentucky Invitational 3-star Grand Prix in that same month to finish 4th with a good double clear. Connor's already had this horse placing in the top 10 7 times so far this year. 6 of those were in the top 5 and 2 of those were wins. And very consistent, frequently at the top of things. It's a nice small athletic horse. He took that turn back to fence 8 quite a lot tighter.
Yeah, nice efficient run so far. Again, getting the horse used to this level and then progressively for the next. Nice move on down to the Oxer. He's going to again not go drifting too far here and just gets a bit of pressure going off there to get across the triple bar. And this is where the old trick is. Don't let them get too far forward and keep a nice tidy bouncing stride to the last. There we go. And at 76.93 again shows good move, having adjusted the time allowed there, so it gives us the second of the clears inside the time as well. Consuelo Castorano and so far Patricia Pascal and Alicia Santa Rosa.
More inside lines, keeping that time down.
Shauna Cook, also part of our 5-star earlier on this week. It's a very good record through 3-star competition as well, over into Spruce Meadows. Shauna from Sherwood Park, Alberta, and Sheila Kelly's Kaya.
Yeah, they've jumped down in Thermal this year. They won a 3-star 2-phase competition there. Just outside the top 10 in another 3-star class there. But they've jumped well here at T-Bird in the past as well. They placed in the top 10 in a 3-star Grand Prix here in September. They've had wins last year at Spruce Meadows together, and in August won 2 winning round competitions here as well. Both of those coming at the 3-star level, but 2 wins at this very venue last summer. What a pity. Just came in quite strongly to the triple combination there, and that pace just causing them to have the back rail of the A element. Time looks good though, this pair are really not hanging around. Yeah, closer than I anticipated to the time allowed there. I think they had a good pace up, but perhaps just a few of the more outside lines.
Yeah, finishes on the 8 and 76.05, and so inside that new time allowed of 77. 2 clears on the board. Mandy Porter in third on the 4. Susan Artes behind that on 4 faults as well at 75.98. Patricio Pascal Jr. now, and father and son competing here this week. And Serrano 19 for the Mexican rider, also one that went well down in Mexico City earlier on this season too. And good experienced horse here with a young rider that's just come through those young rider championships last season.
Yes, it is an experienced horse. This is a 17-year-old gelding. Patricio setting off at quite a pace as he's heading towards fence 1. He jumped in the 2-star Grand Prix at Mexico City, had a couple of fences down there, and then also jumped in a 2-star Grand Prix in Wellington, fence down in a couple for time there, so a couple of good performances. I'm sure we'll be looking to build on that, but it's great for these young riders to learn from the more experienced horses, as I say, particularly in the young rider level competitions. Triple combinations proving pretty influential now already.
What's it called?
We head through Patricio, our 10th competitor. Let's go. The triple once again.
Shot down the last, finishes just on the 4 with a bit of time to add there as well, 78.90 as they plot their way around. It's going to be 2 for time, taking them to 6 for Patricio Pascal Bo of Mexico. 2 clears at the moment, Patricio Pascal Senior, if you like, father. And Connor Swale and Castorano. Kyle King has been in terrific form here, as he often is. Good happy hunting ground here for him at T-Bird and the West Coast in general. Cerolino.
Cerolino's one that Kyle has had since the end of last year. Again, this horse has got quite an interesting lineup of riders on the record so far, including Michael Murphy of the USA, and then further back Edouard Schmitz and Martin Fuchs, the Swiss riders. Earlier this month, Kyle took this horse to San Juan Capistrano for an 8th place in the 3-star Grand Prix there. Was 4th in a 2-star Grand Prix there, and then 2nd in 2 other 2-star classes. So really good run. Just very recently, Kyle's had this horse in finishing in the top 10 8 times so far in their partnership. It gives them a 66% rate of getting in the top 10, 8 times out of 12 competitions. But yeah, Kyle's had a very good run recently at the 5-star level as well. This horse now coming up, getting more and more consistent. Be another strong one for his string.
Definitely got a good pace to it. Down there, nice pop over to the vertical. And easy on a big jumping grey to the last, and it's 74.62, so will give us the third of the clears. Kyle King continues to look for more winning ways here at T-Bird. 50th anniversary, of course, of this fabulous venue. Well, the T-Bird ethos, if you like, because the original venue was back into Langley in the town before the eventual move here that started back in 1973. Finding the homes. Yeah, and thanks, of course, to the Tidball family and the several generations that have made this all possible here into the maturity of what the venue looks like now. Susan Horn, Chaka keeps the second. Now this is a bit more of an experienced combination for the rider from the Kingsfield Farm, Ontario. Done plenty of 2-star Grand Prix before now for this pair. So this might be one that should get a bit more of a mature run around this.
Yes, I would say so. This pair actually had about a year off from international competition, had quite a long break, but in this year so far they've jumped 6 clear rounds out of 7 rounds jumped. Susan had the horse down in Wellington. They placed 5th twice, 6th once. Those coming across 2- and 3-star level competition. So, as you say, they are quite consistent. Fence down here now, though, but building back up following the break. Susan, another rider that we saw quite extensively in the 2-star classes last year on the Major League circuit.
Just steadies at the right time, just keep coming for a good round. Going to leave them just on the 4. Time was good, 73.12. One of those would have been under the original time. Finished on the 4, but as I say, pairing with a bit more experience under their belt from that point of view. And just dropping the 1 fence for Susan Horn, and Shaka keeps the second. 3 holding on the clear so far with Kyle King, Seralino, Consuelo Castorano, and Patricia Pascal, and Alicia Santa Rosa. Sambu's Darville now of Fort Langley here in British Columbia, literally just down the road. And it's Chic de Emma Z. The one that's kept up a good run throughout the winter months.
Been a good show for local riders here so far this week,
Yeah.
with Tiffany Foster's
Well,
win
the
yesterday.
5-star win for Tiffany Foster and her first 5-star Grand Prix win.
Absolutely, so very good week for home or local competitors. Samantha placed 4th in a 4-star Grand Prix with this horse at Thermal in March. This is a horse that she's been riding since mid-2022. And in March they also had a 7th place finish in a 3-star Grand Prix. There's some good results already for the year. And again, she's taken that line a little bit tighter, a little bit like, not quite so tight, but a little bit like we saw Consuelo do, just to save the time. This Chic de Emma. You can see this horse's potential. You can see where those good results have come from,
Yep.
and a good cheer from the crowd as well.
Absolutely, and it's a pretty quick one if they get into the heated battle, which they will, into that jump off, and so adds a 4th in there. And a good to have another local combination there with Sambu's Darville and Chic de Emma Z. It's our 13th of the order of 40 or so in total. For a good showdown for a lovely afternoon. A few in the stands as well, plenty on a sort of Sunday lunch post lie in the sun afternoon to enjoy some good sport.
Why not?
Exactly. Eric Crowett now, super young rider here from Canada, Okotoks, Alberta to be exact, and Chicago CM. He and brother already getting some good results behind them as young riders, just tipping their toe more and more into the big senior ranks. Again, it's a good opportunity for him on the way up as well. A bit of a look at the first. Good roll down the hill. Just a slight incline from top to bottom. Lovely, beautiful grass arena here. It's been prepared so lovingly by the T-Bird team. We'll have 2 weeks competition here. Next week it'll be Nations Cup out on the turf here. Major League, of course, we're taking place over into the Thunderbird Arena. Nice turn up there, saves a little bit of time into 8. Really took a tighter line as he dares down that way, and just gives himself a little bit more space down to 10. Again, not drifting too far on the roll back. He's played the time pretty well so far. Should be enough for them to get home and hosed without any trouble at all. And a good solid round, taking them home in 73.33 for Eric Crowett and Chicago CM. So the young Canadian adding to the list so far. Just tucks up nicely, gets a little bit closer to that final part of the triple combination. And final fence they can let fly there. Looking good, and gives us clear round number 5. 2 the backs for the Canadians. Ireland, Mexico, and US, all with a good run. Top 3 yesterday for Lily Keenan of the USA. That was with Faster. Today with Chili Pepper HMZ. another of the younger horses for her. I think this one 8 years old from that point of view. Really nice looking combination that we've seen a few times this year. Went again with some good results down in Florida, and now getting some good experience on a few different surfaces.
Yeah, great performance from Lily yesterday to finish in the top 3 in that tricky competition. Only 4 going through to the jump off, but the Faster's been a great horse for her. And this one, as you say, is just an 8-year-old stallion. She came 9th in a 5-star winning round competition with this horse earlier this month. But this is a horse that she knows well. She's had the ride on this horse for quite some time from doing the young horse classes back in 2021. And this horse is clear 50% of the time this year so far. So, yeah, you know, really quite consistent, but it's nice to see her bringing this horse up the levels from the very young horse classes.
Yeah, the likes of Faster as well in a string that's been with her for quite some time as well. And again, that's the way to build up the relationship with them.
Yeah.
They are not coming from day one, but sort of 5-6-year-olds onwards. So this is one she's rightly very keen on. Just keep nice even pace up to the last. There we go. Finishes off and just going to squeeze inside the time allowed. 76.56 from that point of view, and well measured round. And so adds a 6th clear to the list so far.
Perfectly timed.
Yeah.
I think in one of our earlier competitions in the week, she actually finished exactly on the time allowed.
She did, yeah. I'd like to say it's perfect timing, but that's just straight luck. Ashley Pavlia now of Canada from Harrison Hot Springs, British Columbia as well. And this is Compluvo Z.
This is a really new pair to FEI competition. This is their first competition together, in fact.
That'll do. That'll come under the new category.
Very new.
Very new.
Great place to start your international competition career, though, as a horse. What a place to do it.
Exactly, and for combinations like this, it's really good to have this facility that has 2- and 3-star competitions all throughout the summer now, to be able to just get younger horses and combinations used to the arena, get in there again and again, just build on, pluses and minuses in the rounds. There's a little bit to be said for also that, getting a consistent arena, then a bit of a change. But here offering several different types of rings to be able to get used to that as well. Just trails that one off behind.
Yeah, exactly. If they are jumping more frequently here, of course they've got the larger, the smaller rings, the different surfaces, and great facilities in terms of the stables, all the facilities for horse and rider.
Yeah, just stutters a little bit at 7. Let's keep coming down this line. Nice forward motion. There we go. Again, keep the confidence, both horse and rider. Yeah, with a couple down at this stage. Coming into their first 2-star Grand Prix. It's not a bad day at the office. There we go. Plenty of pluses to take out of that. The odd error, but things to build on for Ashley and Compluvo Z. So 82.63, sees them add some time onto that as well, so takes them to a total of 14 in all. Years on the board at the moment, and interesting, most good chunk of those with experienced riders bringing some younger horses through. Christopher Lowe now, Chris from Vancouver, again just down the road here. Canadian with Cunningham 4.
Yeah, this combination's last competition was here in September of last year. They rode in the 3-star Grand Prix, and this is their return to competition for 2023. That's a shame because he didn't really deserve that fence
Well,
down.
just getting a bit of pace up to it. Turned up, just got a little bit tight for them. Just need to get a nice rhythm down this line. It should all come up well. Just, yeah, started to drift to the left there.
And again, just
That left them in further trouble for the next time to regroup on the corners.
that line kind of has encouraged this combination to just get a little bit strung out and a little bit pacey, I think, as well, which is the end there.
Just keeps making a little bit of move to the left. It straightens them up. Yeah, good to the finish. And so we'll leave them with 12 at 81.23, so that means a little bit of time on top as well. It means 4 for time, total of 17 for Christopher Lowe and Cunningham 4.
77 seconds. Christopher Lowe and Cunningham's time is 81.23 and 17 total.
Still the 6 clears then,
46 straight.
out of 17 so far.
Yeah.
Number 7654. Next entry to show here in today's Grand Prix. This is Zungala and Adida.
And Zungalaga Gallagher to go now. This is the Blue Gate Stables combination Edita. First year for her onto Major League Jumping into the 5 stars hit here this week as well. She's got a pretty good record coming through this level too, but again acquitted herself well onto her first week and first step into those big classes as well. It was very good to see this week. Onto the Roadrunners team this year.
Yeah, she rode on the Roadrunners to jump clear in round 1,
Yeah.
and then just clipped a pole in the first jump off, so round 2. That was with the horse Indigo van der Mugenhoek, but great performance and got them into the top 4.
I agree with that.
This horse is a horse that came from the Philipparts, and she's been in the top 10 with this 5 times so far this year.
Philipparts family over in Belgium. Big family breeding
Back in
program,
the-
never mind horses. Several brothers. And of course Father Ludo, who's an Olympic rider as well.
Yeah, but they really do develop a lot of very good young horses that then make their way all over the world.
This makes an edge out to get straighter. Just a little across that oxer. Got a nice pace to this though as well at the moment. Just rocks the back pole on the triple. Just got to be careful of pace here. Just takes a little off coming down there. Gets more balance run to the last. And find their feet to finish off at 74.03. And so adding to the clear list and continuing a good week for Zumagala and Edita on the clear there. So takes us to the 7th clear in the lineup so far. More to come down the pipeline yet. And could be coming from the direction of our next winner of the 5-star Grand Prix here yesterday. Her first 5-star Grand Prix, surprisingly for a rider who's been twice an Olympian. She's been right up there on the podiums in a whole list of 5-star Grand Prix. She's won many 5-star classes, but to get one on home ground as well in the 50th year of T-Bird, her home venue, grew up basically here as well. It's been lovely to see, a lovely story for the week for Tiffany Foster. It's the 5 Roosters of Texas's Electric horse that was with Kent Farrington for a little while. Some good classes with him on the way through. Again, still on the younger side.
Yeah, competed by Kent, now being competed by Tiffany this year. She took this horse down to Florida and also to Lexington. A couple of top 5 placings. He's had the horse up to the 3-star level so far. That double is causing quite a lot of problems.
Yeah, it just comes a little bit up the gradient. And again, just flattened a little going in. But again, to say this is a horse that's getting good experience of these. Had a nice win with Kent Farrington down in Florida. And for Tiffany has been just producing this horse along very, very nicely indeed. Kent and Tiffany have had a few horses together over the years. I think one of them they still, at least one of them they still have this battle cry between them as well. But this is one to watch out for. This is a Grand Prix horse of the future again. Just needs to get some ring time and allowed to grow through it, mature into it. In very professional hands. Okay, not too much to worry about there. Okay, couple down and one for time as well. So 77.81 for Tiffany Foster and Electric. Still going to be another step into their chapter of a good combination, but I think, you know, I'd be really interested to see that combination at the end of the year as well.
Yeah, there was so much to like about that, and you could really see the kind of progression over the season already so far. So yeah, end of the year should be good.
Absolutely. Alexis Sokolov is going to be next, the California rider from Rancho Santa Fe with Faso de Seigneur. Alexis, again with this horse and with Kelsey, the last 12 months has now moved up a gear as well. Went solidly through the 5 stars, including at the Desert Horse Park last year, training with Connor Swale. There's a couple of very impressive horses indeed. Oh, just attempted to come unlikely to that first fence, it just catches them. Casual drop at first, but looking stronger through the next few.
Yeah, this mare can be quite hot, and this is one that Alexis tends to often use in the speed classes or classes that require quite a lot of speed, but they have been jumping well. They actually came 3rd in a power and speed class in San Juan Capistrano. Also had a 2-star win in Thermal. But yeah, really been coming up the levels on the Show Plus Northern Lights this year, but was part of the Roadrunners team. And they were in the top 4 every time Alexis was on the team last year.
Looking more settled down that line for this pairing.
Yeah, they seem to have settled into this round, don't they? About the first fence. Plays around a little bit, but Alexis dealing with it. There we go, better finish. And again, we'll just get them inside the time though, at 76.50. It is going to be on the 8. A little bit exuberant today. On the 8 there, 76.50 for Alexis Sokolov and Faso de Seigneur. Holding at the 7 pairs at the moment. Erin Ballard coming into view with the Canadian, with Alain Feder's Game Over. Erin from Tottenham, Ontario. Spent most of her time there, based down in Wellington, Florida. World Championship rider. Likely to be another newer horse in the string. Erin, who rides a wide range of horses for the Feder stables. Gave us our first clear in the 5-star Grand Prix. So, but yes, this is a new one for this year. This one was with Daphne Ratzel, France. They were clear in Wellington earlier on in the year, 57% of the time. But fairly lightly competed so far. But this looks like one that would be
working on the once turns away a little bit as they come into each of those fences now, just to balance the speed up down here. It's 10. Keep it tight enough and a fairly confident shot at the triple bar. A little bend in the line to the last. And time-wise will be no trouble at 72.74. They definitely weren't hanging around. Game over is game on for Erin Ballard into a jump-off once again. So giving us the 8th clear of this two-star Grand Prix this afternoon. Part of the Canadian Premier, 50 years of T-Bird. The Canadian Grand Prix, maybe, we'll see. There's a few chances in there so far with Sam Buers-Darvin, Eric, and now with Erin Ballard too. Another one that would have strong GCS Athena, the Canadian Olympian.
Amy's had as well, riding that gold medal winning round for Team Eye Candy. I'm just looking to the side of me, and we were you're commenting on the people sitting on the grass, but actually there's a lot of people using the backs of their cars for picnics and enjoying the sunshine along the other side.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Lovely
It's all
afternoon
about
for
Sunday afternoon, chilled out. If you're sitting around the ring, you've got the pictures. Just
So this is a horse that was developed as a 7-year-old by Michael Pender.
Mikey, who's been having a very good run actually. He was the winning rider, if you like, or the rider that rode the winning round at the Nations Cup in Rome this week as well. I'll try that sentence.
He had a win in a 4-star competition in Wellington in March, and they've been in the top 10 50% of the time this year so far.
Just gets a fraction quicker than probably would have wanted down to that final part of the triple combination. Go at the triple bar and then come back to me. Those that hate hours of flat work, that's where it all pays off. Hate to tell you. Finishing on the 474.53, Amy Miller and GCS Athena. So just on the one down for Amy this time, as we come to the first half of this $30,500 two-star Grand Prix this afternoon. 8 clears at the moment with Patricia Pascal, Connor Swale, Kyle King, Sam Buers-Darville, Erin Ballard has those into the jump-off at this stage. Glorious here at the Bird Show Park. It's just enough time to go and a glass of water, chill out. Maybe you want to put this outside too and just watch us on the screen. In a few moments' time as we just take a little breather for a second until our next.
We'll be seeing 8 rider horse combinations in today's jump-off. Later today is designed by Richard Park.
How much time do we have?
I did that.
Okay, sweet.
Today's Grand Prix is the culmination of the action for the individual competitors at this first leg of the 2023 Major League Show Jumping season here in Vancouver. Thursday's qualifying competition saw some fantastic sport with some brilliant combinations coming forward.
We have a new leader right now.
Joe would be nice, actually. I'm not sure how the horses
We're just moments away from the resuming our competition for today's CSI 2-star $38,500 Grand Prix Meter 45 here at the Full Grand Prix Ring. We're going to see 25 entries to see here before the end of our class.
by me like jumping down my platform because I left early. Yeah, I was like, the horse got scared.
Cleared the course in the first round.
I'm like, sorry. Do it again, do it again. Yeah. Just did not think about that at all. Well, especially if you have to leave earlier. It's like you're stuck in the middle of the run. Might have been like a really good horse. Oh, come on. You gotta waste the time there.
Don't forget to check us out next week for the 2023 Ironman BC Open. As it will feature one of the signature events, the Longines Nations Cup. We're next week here at the Virtual Park. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram using the handle @ThunderbirdShowPark. We're celebrating our 50th anniversary here in 2023.
I feel like I've been living here for the past 4 days. Yeah. Like you go home and you sleep and then come back. I've been listening to Lord of the Rings audiobook. It's been keeping me going. Well, I'm just at the end of Fellowship of the Ring, so yeah. Right now I'm at like 12. Yeah, but I never read the book, so I love the movies. And I'm like, this could be a great time just to listen to it. And I know the scenes. I'm just gotta fill in the gaps. On what? Just stuff.
3:45. Joining us now is entry number 99 here on course. This is Ryder Chad and Brendan WP.
Back underway then, and those that jump off qualifiers so far in this afternoon's 50 years of T-Bird 2-star Grand Prix, and Bretton Shad takes us into the second half here with Grandeur WP. Bretton from Calgary, Alberta. Stone Ridge Farms combination, and good experienced horse here at 13 years of age now for this next to go. And one that's by Whistler, with an appropriate name for one here in Canada. And take us into the second half of say. You've just seen those 8 that are through at the moment. Total of 45 that we'll see in all. Unfortunately, has the second fence down there. One of the few to do that. Just gets a little quicker down that line. Lots of power though for this pairing now. Nice to balance up here. Here's Prix. Nice move through, but just moves through a little bit too much to just have the top of the oxer down. Extra minor time allowed of 77 seconds.
Looking to add another good result in a 2-star Grand Prix. They were 16th in one in December in Thermal, and then in February were 6th in a 3-star Grand Prix. Looking to add to that record.
Keeps on a forward movement up to the last couple on 12, and it's going to be a little bit for time as well there. 12-year-old, in fact, Grandeur WP, and Bretton Shad lands them at 79 seconds exactly, which means exactly 2 time faults to add to that as well. So 40 all for Bretton and Grandeur this time around. Here's Patricia Pascal, Connor Swale, Kyle King, Zoom Gallagher, and most recent with Erin Ballard, of course. Gaston Keith next, and with the next to the Canadian riders from Surrey, British Columbia, again just down the road. Cheryl Keith's Havana came through, having been into the classes into Thermal this year. Good results into the 4 stars there, and on this 11-year-old Bay Bear now for Cassidy.
Yeah, they've been jumping in some big classes actually. In October they jumped in the World Cup in Sacramento and were 13th at the back end of last year, and then went to Thermal for quite a few weeks. Placed 5th in a speed class there in March. That's where they've been competing this year so far. Been in the top 10 a couple of times, but only jumped 5 classes, so fairly lightly competed this year so far. Now getting their season really going, coming back to home turf.
Very good to have this kind of facility just down the road. This gives a little push around the corner to get going. And now down this triple combination. A little steady on the way in, and it culminates in a problem at the next. Jacket just goes off as well as they bounce up very quickly off the deck, but all okay. Unfortunately, parts company there, Cassidy Keith and Havana. Oh, there we go. Squeeze out. Just inflated and go back down. That's there for the safety. Some of them built in under the jackets as they work now. But none seeming worse for wear. Meanwhile, we'll concentrate on James Chalk of Cochrane, Alberta. Ramsey Equestrian of Victoria's Howard de Seigneur, and for James, who's finished well with this 10-year-old before now into the big classes here with this Chestnut Stallion. And finished one of the Grand Prix here not too long ago, back into last season, I think.
Yes, third in a 3-star Grand Prix here. That was back in September. And James has had this ride since about the middle of last year. This one was with Arnaud Dome of Belgium before.
Saw them into third and fourth in 3-star Grand Prix here as well, so I've been up to a little bit of a higher level from that point of view.
Yeah, we've actually got a few horses in this competition who've jumped higher up the levels, you know, jumped in the 4-star, 5-star competitions, and then at this, you know, some of them now using this as a relatively early stage in their season to get things going and just becoming confident again, taking a bit of a step down. You know, we've got some names to come, like Jordan Coyle with Picador to come, and some other very good horses, NKH Santo Blue with Sean Cassidy coming as well, ones that are just now getting going for the new year.
Just squaring up to the vertical at 8. Nice rolling stride down that line. Again, just works the curve. Pretty good so far from the Irishman. Nice turn back, get into the bottom of the triple bar, get the height. It's good for time, good for another round overall. And at 75.01, and a good consistent performer here at T-Bird already, as proven, and so will give us our first after the break of the clears. But again, start looking through the form of where they went well here last year. Hasn't done much over the winter. Came back into a few of the shows through the early part of the year in California. And, for James picked up a couple of wins into the 3 stars in San Juan in California just a few weeks ago. Man who's been having a very good week here is Daniel Coyle, Ariel Granger's Jasper for the Irishman, and winning the Grand Prix qualifier here this week as part of the 5-star, but has also been winning in this grass arena as well.
Yeah, had a win earlier on yesterday, but always a competitive rider, part of the Roadrunner squad this season. This one is a new ride for him.
Yeah. Coming into the FEI classes for the first time with this combination. With Legacy at the top of the string, but again it's all about continuing the next stages. Went very well with Gisborne, of course.
Yeah, great to see him in action with Legacy yesterday in the 5-star Grand Prix as well. Not their day, but
yeah,
still great to see them in action.
James pushes out front the vertical at the first part of that line. Early stages, not too much to worry about there, as again another step on the rungs of the ladder, and so with a little bit to add for time as well, 3 to add for time, we'll take it to 79.31. Of course that gets rounded up to 80, so 3 plus the fence down for Daniel Coyle and Jasper. A good week for him, and could potentially be here again next week. Of course, many of those 5-star riders staying on for next week's Nations Cup, and to be joined by a few others along the way as well. One of the teams part of that Nations Cup. And Laura Jane Tidball, LJ, Thunderbird Show Parks at Jericho. Hearing a few cheers out there, of course, the home support here, her family, alongside all parts of the setup for this Canadian Nations Cup rider.
Again, another combination who went to jump down in thermal. A couple down in the 2-star Grand Prix there in December, and this is their return to FEI competition as a combination for 2023.
So just comes out a fraction forward out of that line. Family of the Tidballs that have been involved in horses through several generations now. Jericho, 11 years of age. Right into that light vertical. Hasn't caused too many problems so far. Nice one right down the last line. Going to be a little bit for time there as well. It is 8 plus 2 time. Just that fraction forward into the double. Just cost them a rail, and one in front as well at the Oxer a little later on. 10 for LJ and Jericho. Holding at the 9 clears so far in this $38,500 Grand Prix this afternoon. That's Robitaille now, and Yukikara for the other rider, who's also another rider that's also been a regular at 5-star level. Now getting into those, back into that level of competition more and more now.
Yep, and in doing so also joining the Major League Show Jumping Team Series as well, part of Team KPF. This combination also make their return to international competition for this year. Last show was Tryon in October last year, where they placed in the top 10 3 times. A great run down there.
That was with her last year. It came from the Netherlands. Spent a little time with Emily Ward of Great Britain. Emily actually was spending a good amount of time based with Tiffany Foster. A few seasons. Emily's really been building up the string again towards the top level. She was a rider who's competed at World Cup finals, won major World Cup qualifiers in Europe and in the USA through her very good career. We'll move to the left down to the Oxer. Keeps it clean enough to leave it up. Nice and balanced. There we go. And it's going to be a little bit steady. 79.72, and so is going to see a couple for time there, in fact 3 to be exact. That'll take them up to 80 seconds. But overall, good round for Yukikara and Alison Firestone there. And so finishes on 3, just outside, of course, our qualifying group, so goes into 10th place with the time on the clock.
Time still being fairly influential. We are seeing some tighter lines around the course, but there are a couple of places where they can just take their time, and some of these combinations that are just returning to this level of competition, or some of the newer combinations just taking a bit more time, a bit of a steadier approach, building that confidence up.
The local riders here now of Prix with the Brother Fortune equestrians. Cadence Van de Mispelaire, actually based in Langley, British Columbia, based here.
This is a horse that, he has ridden since early 2022. This was previously with Christoph van der Hasselt. Earlier on this year, they were also down in thermal, and just had one pole down in the 2-star Grand Prix there. And last summer jumped in a 2-star Grand Prix here at T-Bird for 8th.
So through the double, just steadies off the wall. Comes at the almost right angles down that line as it's set up. Again, testing the balance and control. A little bit of a stutter and has to work on the way out there.
Careful jumping, this horse.
Yeah. And bounces the last, but its time is going to be okay. 76.53. And again, good finish for them. And so set to return for the Korean rider. Gives us 10 so far. Nasanao and Leguini de la Palme. Newer ride into his string, but has one been a regular in the ring over the last few months as well. Has been a good winning combination. Also came from Europe as well. Was actually, I think it was Film Vermeer was this with this horse, but actually got some nice, good finishes with them in Florida this year.
Yes, very much so. One that Niall's really been developing this year so far. Jumping down in Wellington. All results that this pair posted there were in the top 6. They won a metre 45 3-star class. They were then 6th and 4th in a couple of 5-star classes. All of their starts being at the metre 45 level.
Yeah, I mean, it's a horse that's just coming through at that level as a pair, with Vin having jumped through to even 5-star level, jumped at Hickstead previously. But now 12 years of age, this mare, to again strengthen the Nassau string.
Very light touch on that pole to take it down. A huge reach over the triple bar as well. Time's looking good as well. It's such a shame just to have that tiny touch on that fence, because they jump beautifully around this course. Just a tiny rub to take down the upright with the water tray beneath there. Just the 4.
Just the force with Linguini and Lexi Ray now. Lukaku van der Bishop for the Canadian rider. Several still to come for the home nation yet. Strong group from the USA as well. Rounding things out with a combination from Brazil.
Lexi was very successful with this horse in the under 25 competitions. Yeah. She was 6th in the under 25 Grand Prix in Wellington. But very successful throughout 2022. All just gets deep to the second fence. That's unfortunate. Yeah, good in those under 25 competitions last year. Competed at the North American Youth Championships in 2016 and 17 in the junior category. Also competed there last year, but individually.
Covers for the 8 so far. Looking for a strong finish for Lexi. Little quick down to that line. Just says wait to the last, but not quite enough, I'm afraid. So takes a couple down there into the final run. 16 at 78.21. So that'll mean some time to add as well. 2 for time there for Lexi Ray, and Lukeko van de Bishop just hooks off that first vertical. Bowling forward to the last. It's a totem fence with them as well. So 18 in all. It is still holding at the 10 clears so far. Still with around 10-11 left to go in the first round of this. Walker next, and montage of colours from Aurora here in Canada. Nations Cup rider previously for the Canadians as well.
New horse for her this year. This one was with Helena Bears of Belgium. Jumped a couple of good clear rounds so far with Nikki. Just under 30% clear so far, but developing the partnership. Just a shame, light touch on the plank that's on top of fence 3 there to clip that down. Double combination causes problems once again. This is quite a big striding horse. He found that distance between 5 and 6 a little, 6 and 7, excuse me, a little short.
Nicely through the triple combination. Good rhythm through there. Nikki just concentrating on getting a good second part of this round to build not too many rounds under their belt as a pairing together. She had a very good run down in Florida in the early part of the year, included a Grand Prix win there. Just sits nicely to the last, just let it come. There we go, just a little touch on it. But it is 8.77.50 for Nikki Walker, and montage of colours, which means 1 time full to add. Just not too much of a tap onto that plank, and it just rippled. Just leaning just a fraction onto the first part of the double there early on. But finished well, and it is 9 for Nikki Walker, and montage of colours this time around. Nicole Hurnett now, and my Lady La Vista for the Cherokee show horses for the US rider. San Diego, California.
Nicole's jumped 2 international competitions with this horse, one being in Las Vegas in November and one being in San Juan Capistrano in April this year. They actually won their last 2 classes. Those were both down in California, one being a m35 speed class and then a 140 competition. So they come here fresh from 2 wins. They've been in the top 10 50% of the time as a rule, and got quite some pace here, and it's a sort of smaller horse that's definitely got the power that she needs around here. And another one that you would think would go for it should they get through to the jump off.
Time should be good. Oh, just moved across the last fence. It just made it that fraction wider, and so cuts down onto it on the 4 then at 74.10 for Nicole and My Lady La Vista. That agonising close shot where you can see how much they moved across to the left there at the finish. And will cost them, I'm afraid, just with the one fence on the deck.
That was such a shame because they did so well all the way around, and as you say, just that drift left wasn't the problem.
Put more in now, NKH Corrido. 2 horses coming up with the NKH prefix. Brooke also from California. Owned by Strasbourg Morin Incorporated. 34th of 45 of this group. Brooke, in this pair actually you've had some good results here, including a Grand Prix win here last year.
Yes, exactly. Won the 2-star Grand Prix here in August. Also won a 3-star speed class here. They did a 2-star Grand Prix in San Miguel for 5th as well. Looks like she's retired here. She's taken the first fence down and heads out of the ring.
It's not happening. And so, very swift exit for Brooke. Clears at the moment.
As it stands right now, we currently have 10 entries to join us in today's return jump off.
Sean Cassidy making his way up. Sean from Tennessee with the October Hill sales of Texas's NKH Cento Blue. This was owned with Erin Davis. She had a really good start for them down in San Juan Capistrano as well. Another Grand Prix winning combination. Has been very good at picking up those catch rides and making them successful. As part of the teams before now for Major League 2.
Yeah, as you say, a horse that we saw quite a lot last year with Erin Davis Heineken. And Sean's had 2 wins with this horse already, both in the metre 50 competition. So this height, these fences are a metre 45, shouldn't be a problem for them.
Yeah, and should be a building combination here for them. As you say, jumped in some of the big classes at the Nations Cup there. Possibly wouldn't be ranked high enough to get into the top, into the 5-star this week, and so heads into the 2, and potentially we'll see if they're part of the 5-star classes next week as well. But this will be a nice shot for them to build as a partnership as well. This is a good early idea with building a partnership of going up and down those grades. We tested them out a few weeks ago, but a horse that we've seen plenty of times jumping some 150, 160 tracks. 13 years of age. Sean building up a really nice partnership with Cento Blue. Good to see him with a horse at this level. Just a bit of encouragement, a little bit of drive off the corner there for the triple bar. Looks good for time, leave it up, and they will at 76.12. And so Sean Cassidy continuing that good run to give them the 11th clear so far. Happy hunting left to come for them a little later on into that jump off for Sean Cassidy.
The next entry in the show here in today's World Prix ring is entry number 826.
Sam Overton now, and Oaks Casanova for the Australian. A couple of Australians here this week, and Australia with a team next week too, into the Nations Cup as well. So we'll see the strengthening of their string coming into full force next week.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Samuel jumped this horse over in Australia, and then jumped this horse in Omaha at the World Cup finals, and now heads here to Vancouver. So interesting combination of competitions for this horse.
Yeah, a few of the Australians now coming to base in the US and Canada. And the Oaks prefix associated with a whole long list of very good horses, including Oaks Milky Way as well. So let's see. There's Sam Overton.
Very late falling pole there. Oaks Casanova just seemed to twist a little bit in the air down over 9C, but it was certainly a very late falling pole. And a little bit over the time as well.
Yeah, fourth jumping and a little bit to add for time there for Sam Overton and Oaks Casanova. String of horses with the Oaks prefix with Hilary Scott of Australia. But, with the Australians, tough for them. They don't have the level of competition that we do necessarily in Europe and the US, just purely because of the size of the country, the levels that are there. So it's much easier for them to base into some of the big countries, more shows featuring for them to be more considered for those top flight, as well as David Cameron is. Oaks come by chance with David again. Another one's now based over here into the Americas.
Yeah, and I think, as you say, you know, it's the difference in the number of competitions available to them, but I think these riders may have their eye on those Nations Cup competitions. David jumped in a Nations Cup in March on a team for Australia. So perhaps having a preparation this week for the Nations Cup that of course will be held here next week.
Well, and that's the other thing, that in terms of Australia, there aren't any Nations Cups there, so for them to be able to come over to the US and compete in them is good, and probably more opportunity for the Australian team to compete in Nations Cups in the States and in Canada than there is in Europe, because again, so many nations over there looking to get a slot into those team classes as well. So it's a good opportunity to come over to the Americas. Again, like many, they have much to prep for. Unfortunately, just gets in trouble on the last part of that triple combination. On the 8 and plus a bit, well, no, inside the time actually, 76.018 there for David Cameron with Australia. Just leans forward, coming out at last, just a little bit unbalanced in that final part of the triple. And so 8 faults on the scorecard for the Aussie. We'll be seeing them next week into Nations Cup competition. 11 clears at the moment. Sean Cassidy, the most recent. And then KH Cento Blue. Jordan Coyle, Picador. Pairing that have done plenty before now. And has also been a good versatile horse from Grand Prix to Speed. It's a very good horse for him in the team competition for Major League as well.
Yeah, a key player for Jordan for the Spico Spies last year. He rode many times on the team competition, and Picador was his choice for a few of them, and quite a quick horse, as you say, and one that's often a horse that he selects for those speed classes, and is often good in the jump-off rounds in the team competition. Last year he won 5-star classes with Picador in Monterey and in Thermal. This year he's ridden horse in North Salem and just did one class in Wellington with this horse. So again, one that's been seen too much this year, taken a little bit of a break and now returns in this 2-star competition. But I'm sure we will see them at the 5-star level as the season progresses. Jordan a fast rider, but Picador very much a naturally quick horse as well. He's back on the Spyco Spies again for this year.
And it's back in the game here as well for Jordan Coyle, and Picador at 75.25 will take us up to a dozen to return for the jump off now. Jordan Coyle with a chance. And from the Land Farm of Newark, New Jersey. So Jordan just keeping that horse ticking over for late into the season as well. Some going into the big competitions back into Florida, going hard down there, and others just backing off, saving a little for later into the year for them. So Luis Gerardo Castaneda, Marcado, and Santa Rosa Quality Boy, another one from the Santa Rosa team. 10-year-old mare for Luis. Again, the long list of competitions down in Mexico, and another chance there with those competitions pretty well completed for the winter season. A number of the Mexican riders heading up here to Canada. They'll head here to Vancouver and then on to Spruce Meadows as well over the coming weeks.
Yeah, Jess, this pair have had some good results around Mexico, down in Puebla and in San Miguel this year. San Miguel, where of course we had the Major League show jumping leg last season.
Just giving him some space down to this rock-coloured vertical. Pick up and lift over the last of the triple bars, or triple combination.
Again, good for this combination to get the experience at some different venues and a different type of arena as well.
Time-wise in trouble. Good round, but going to be over the time, 78.93, and plotting their way around, but unfortunately it cost them a couple for time. 2 for time there for Luis and Santa Rosa Quality Boy. Getting close, it puts them into 13th position as it is for them.
We're going to welcome in entry number 735. Is now the Canadian
Stephanie Valdez also with the base at Langley. With Tiffany Foster of Canada. Plenty of local cheering for them. Some good whoops going on out there.
Great whoops.
Tiesto de Palciced for Stephanie. With this now 10-year-old stallion.
A few years ago this horse was ridden by Eric Lamaze. That was in 2020.
Yeah, originally though coming out of Norway through the early part of this horse's career as well.
Again, another one who has had a little bit of a break from international competition since July of last year when they jumped at Spruce Meadows. Definitely say that the double and the triple have been a couple of the problem areas in this course.
Nice rhythm coming through there, and again to to finish off this round for making up for those early errors. A little bit steady, but making sure they finish, get that nice bascule finish to get them in a good shape. It's going to be 12 for jumping, plus some time there for Stephanie Valdez, and Tiesto de Belsis Z takes them to a total of 20 once we've added in the time.
We're going to welcome entry number 1,000 to today's CSI 2-Star Grand Prix. This is with Ireland's James Brennan.
Well, he's definitely heading on that. James Brennan now of Ireland's Valle de Blay. Their base also not too far away at Washington State for the Crook show jumping. Wife Lauren with Valle de Blay now as our 41st of 45. James, the one bringing a good list of young horses through as well to the top level.
Yeah, James rode this horse back in 2021, and then last year this horse was with Ella Duffy, who rode horse in various young rider competitions, including the North American Youth Championships. Ella won 2 competitions with this horse as well, and then back in 2019 the horse was with Emma Stoker of Great Britain. Again, first international competition of the year for this pair.
Yeah. Spent a bit of time based with the Euro horses with the Valois, and back in the UK behind the production of some very good horses. Went through the even 5-star level with Scott Brash. Whoa, and a stop. You can go the skid marks, I'm afraid. I'm just going to give them another little look, see whether he's going to go down that. He's going to come back down the combination. Again, part of the experience. Just build up, says go. There we go, good. Much better shot at the next as well, looks more confident again. Just building this horse's confidence up through. Just, come on, we can do this, makes the shape. And both looking good over the last. Finishes well, good bit of riding, and it is going to be 8 jumping plus some time there, 103.21. Will take them up to 35, but I'm afraid the anchor's well and truly on. Coming into that, it wasn't quite working out for them coming into the triple combination, but finished them on a much better note. 12 clears, 4 left to come.
Currently, as it stands, we currently see 12 entries to join us on today's jump off here on today's CSI 2-Star $38,500,000 Grand Prix.
Some Alex of Calgary, Alberta. Valentino Delte. Vanessa, who's many years trained with Connor Swale, going back to his days in Ireland. And she herself, who's been another regular here at Thunderbird.
Really nice horse for her this. They were 19th in the World Cup in Las Vegas, 8th in the World Cup in Sacramento, and so far this year they've jumped down in Thermal and been placed in the top 10 4 times. Those coming over 2- and 3-star competitions. They were second in a 2-star Grand Prix in Thermal as well. We're very used to this kind of competition.
Yeah, the horse actually at one time was with Dara Kenny and actually Lauren Crooks. I mentioned James Brennan's wife a little bit earlier on. Came out of France as a young horse. And just leans through that line, just a little forward into first part of the double. Esdale, Lauren Myers and Santiago Lamre. The 3 left to go. Ooh, steady. Gets close to the first part. There's a good bit of work to get through the other 2 parts as well with the verticals. Sit up and bring them home with a good shape at the last. Yep. Going to be inside the time at 76.24. Just on the 4 for Vanessa Mannix this time with Valentino Delte. Just not quite enough, I'm afraid, to make round to that early double costing again. Still, as I mentioned, of Canada, Viandios d'Avril. All next to the Canadians. We spent the winter down in Florida as well.
Yeah, jumped well in various Grand Prix down there. 18th in, with just a fence down though, in the 3-star Grand Prix, and then double clear for 5th in the 2-star Grand Prix there in March. Last year Lauren was jumping in the North American Youth Championships in the young rider category and clinched team bronze.
Bronze alongside the likes of Sam Walker. Good group of young Canadians coming through, which is going to be very interesting to see over the next few years. Gives a little bit more meat to the bone for Ian Miller, Captain Canada, the team captain for Canadian squads. Oh, that was not particularly the hardest touchdown there, just a light little rub down the line. It's all forward motion, I'm afraid. Four and done at 76.75, so we'll leave one fence down. Lauren Esdale and Viandios d'Avril. Just a little flick back there. Just a light touch brings it down. Still holding at the 12 with 2 left to come.
We just have 2 rides remaining here. The first round here, the 4th Grand Prix field. This is entry number 10.
Lauren Myers of the US, of Seattle, Washington, and Willow. $8,500 in the prize fund for this class. It's narrowing down to a dozen at the moment into that jump off.
Yeah, a little while since we've had a clear, just a few riders, but Lauren Myers, again another pair with a bit of a break. This combination's last international start was in 2021.
But actually of that,
it was excellent actually,
yes,
in that year, yeah, and jumped very well here. 5 out of 6 classes in the top 10.
yeah.
So it can be very consistent.
Very
And
consistent. Yeah, I mean, may well have dropped down to the national level as well in that,
yeah,
that time. Opportunity, a fun opportunity to get out onto this beautiful Fort Arena here at T-Bird. Into that last fence as well. 12 it'll be, and I say early part of the season for those that will be here throughout the summer here at T-Bird. 14 in total, couple for time there as well at 78.61 for Lauren Myers and Willow. It's one of the key venues on the west coast throughout the summer months. Keeps a very busy schedule up throughout once it kicks off in May. been early April, late April, their first shows of the season, all the way through to tail end of September. A few indoor options as well. The indoor arena currently being used as it is through the summer with a lot of stables in there as well. Down at the bottom end of the site. There's so many options here, from the grass arenas to the surfaces of different sizes, different shapes, and say even through to the indoor sections too.
And a lovely setting in the countryside out here actually, but you know, near the town of Fort Langley and Langley, and then you know the city of Vancouver pretty close by as well.
Started off actually at what was in the city until eventually it was decided to sell up. That site was developed. That was money that there was then put in eventually to the site here. A few years and then eventual development of this venue and foresight of the Tidball family. We'll sit back there, get a balance.
A few competitions on this ring so far this week, but it's just holding up beautifully. Still looks fantastic footing in there.
Santiago just taking it steadily with Zeus. Again, just trying to get a good solid experience for this horse, and that's a good one to take away on the learning list. It's going to be time faults there obviously at 84.26 for Santiago as the last one out for Brazil, so leaves them on a total of 8. So it is 12 going forward to the jump off of the two-star Grand Prix to finish off this Canadian Premier Week here as part of the 50th anniversary celebrations of the Thunderbird Show Park. He's going through, including Patrizio Pascale and Alicia Santa Rosa, Conasuelo Castorano, Kyle King, Cerolina Sambiers and Chic de MZ, Eric Crawwich, Chicago CM, Lily Keenan, Chili Pepper, Zuma Gallagher and Edita, Erin Ballard, Game Over, James Chalk and Howard de Senior, Jaheen Ewan and Ganaz van der Mispelair and Dan Sean Cassidy and Jordan Coyle to round off that top dozen that will be back. We'll be seeing them in a few moments' time for the final stages. Here we see the lineup right the way through, and that's a well-covered list of countries as well: Mexico, Ireland, USA, Canada, Korea, and then down to the final couple, which are also for the US and Ireland as well. So there's a few of the team logos too, from those that are part of Major League show jumping. But you see through different nations' codes, and Ireland will be last out with Jordan Coyle and Picador back in a few.
Good afternoon. We are moments away from the top of the order for our jump off of the CSI 2-star $38,500 Grand Prix Meter 45. We're going to see 12 entries to see here this afternoon here in today's Grand Prix. Time allowed on course is at 54 seconds here, 54 seconds. We're going to start off on fence number 15 in the middle of the ring, our orange T-Bird Oxer on course. And then we're going to ride to our number 7 Seafoam Blue Oxer on course. Wrap around towards the video tower to the election number 8. Vertical on course. Then we're going to head to the newly rebuilt number 9A-B combination in the middle of the field with the white standards. We're going to ride up to the number 10 vertical Paladin Risk Solutions. Wrap around to the right, head towards the Show Must Vertical number 11 and gallop to the number 13 Green Oxer next to the takeover. Once again, we're going to see 12 minutes here on today's top of the order for today's CSI 2-star jump off. 45 Grand Prix. happy to be in today's jump off here at the World Grand Prix field. We're going to welcome in our first.
Getting set for the jump off then, and this is what it looks like with our 12 returning. Shortened course, as you'd expect for a jump off. And it starts over fence 15 this time, so a new fence coming into the course for that. Oxford to start off going up the arena away from the in-gate end to the T-bird fence, and from there it is to fence 7, so swinging to the right to the sky blue colours at 7. Turn back to 8, 9, A and B, so 2 parts of what was the triple combination from that point of view. Third part has been taken away, and so that gives them a long run down to 10, which just edges onto that right side for them. Swing back to 16, which is actually 11. What was the triple bar is now a vertical from that point of view, and then 13 up the last. So a long run across this big grass arena. Off and running with our first, Patricio Pascal and Alicia Santa Rosa. Good through the double, lands out there in 20 seconds. Good run down here again. They can tighten that up down that line as they just move a little bit to the left and give themselves space to get back here to what's now the vertical, which gives them a good shot to slice across. Quite a few strides up there. And it is over the last at 38.98. There's a good bit of space there to really play with that distance. 38.98, and a good clear from Mexico's Patricio Pascal and Alicia Santa Rosa to start us off. First of 12 into the jump off. Still plenty to come though, and Patricio putting them under a good bit of pressure. Just rehearsing the turn back now is Connor Swale of Wellington, the Irishman, with Castorano, this upcoming ride for him.
Always a quick combination, certainly one that you would have picked out to watch here. And Patricio's laid down a great time though. I think Connor's a bit tighter back here.
And he is chasing down here. This looks good. Again, gets himself out a little bit to the left to get that nice smooth turn, but again he gets really tight back to this vertical now, as they can, being a vertical. Good old scoot down to the last, and just a little hole beforehand, so gets over at 38.79, and a good round from him will put him at the top now. It's 38.98 from Patricio Pascal. Connor Swale just going that fraction quicker to put him into the lead.
Very interesting how fractional that was, because he really, as you say, did look like he was chasing, but I think the pull to the last just added a little bit there as well.
Kyle King now and Cirolina. Strong group of success for him here at this venue. Back into the happy hunting ground of chasing down another class. Connor Swale, Castorano setting a good target in this ranking class to finish off the day. Shadows lengthening.
Very different sort of horse here, much bigger striding.
Oh, that's tight. Ooh, gets away with it. Nearly a fraction too much, but that is just a little rock in the cups.
Lucky, very lucky.
So 9 down to fence 10. Connor was so good on the turn back here. Kyle is not far away on that either.
And Kyle's just able to take the strides out with this horse.
Looks like 11 down to the last and clips that final fence, but either way what they want is a good hunting chase down to that final fence. 38.78 from Kyle King and Cirolina, so they are just millimetres between them in terms of time. 38.78 would actually have been 1/100th of a second quicker than the leading time set by Connor Swale, but the last fence was down. So if you ask me to go and have a look at the course and tell you where he made up a hundredth of a second, you have got no chance.
But very different types of horses. Connor's much smaller, sort of quicker on the turns, whereas Kyle using that big stride.
Sambu's Darvel now and Chic de MZ. Connor Swale putting them under pressure. All three so far have been within that 38-second bracket. Another good start. I mean, she gets a little bit wider, a lot wider than that, but a really good shot. Kyle was probably a little tighter maybe than he intended to that. She's just going to try and squeeze in there. She gets really tight into the stands. Maybe squeezes an extra inch here, and now she can chase down to the finish to say a good old hunt down to the final fence. She's going to be a little bit back on time. Is going to be back-footed as well with a fence down 39.52. Not a massive difference between any of them, because that is just over half a second between that and the leading group. But Sam giving it a really good try as well. But another one to just hook that final fence away. Because again, all that time you're just opening up down there. They've got to get that last little bit back so they just don't flatten too much to the last fence. So Connor Swale still leading with Castelrani 38.79. Eric Krawitz, Chicago for the young Canadian rider. And his brother upcoming. Again, another one's for the future for the Canadian squad, potentially. All of those have had a good run at this so far. Two of them on full faults, two of them on a clear. Whoa! Gets a little deeper down to the first fence. Balloons the first. A little more they want with a shot at the second. Gets a nice tight run up into fence 8. That was a little more like Kyle King's, but probably hitting the spot they really wanted. Oh, steady. Just chases down. Got to keep the balance down to 10. He's doing well so far. Steady, wait, just get the right shot. Not going to be fast enough, but it's a good try. Really just lost time right from the first, but otherwise a good effort.
Yeah, a bit time wasting doing such an enormous jump there, but couldn't really be helped. But
with a time of 41.86, and that time slots him into third currently on today's CSI 2-Star Grand Prix. Our six entry to join us on
From there to Lily Keenan and Chili Pepper HMZ for the Charzanet farm.
Lily Keenan quickly away already. Getting a good smooth turn back here. Ah, what a shame. She really just kept a nice pace up down to fence 10, but real shame for that to come down. It's just easing off the pace now a bit, just smoothly down to the final fence. Good there. 43.72, but just that one down as well. Still a fairly young horse though, so absolutely exciting one for the future for Lily there.
We're barely halfway through the jump off here in today's CSI 2-Star. Senior 45 Grand Prix. Time to beat on course is 38.79. Number 654 returns to the jump off here in the 4 Grand Prix field. This is Adina with rider Zoom Geller.
So from their point of view, it is still Conasuelo and Castorano at the top on the clear at 38.79. Patricia Pascal and Alicia Santa Rosa in second. Eric Corwitt and Chicago CM in third place at the moment. Zoom Gallagher now and Edita for the Bluegate Stables. Setting sail, been a very good week for her so far. Turns up tight, it doesn't work out though, I'm afraid.
What a shame.
Gave it a good effort.
You've got to go for it.
Yeah. Just gives herself some, well, I think she might be taking a sail by at this point. Yeah. So calls that one a day, unfortunately. Gave it a very good try, just didn't quite work out. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It can be a winning move. But, not to be this time, but as I say, has had a very solid week in her first week of Major League show jumping so far.
Quick pace already from Erin, setting off with intention.
Very much intention. Fast. It's out of there in 25. This could put them under pressure. They've all been around 38 for that leading pack so far. She's going to be similar. It's going to be down to the fractions. Is it going to be up? I'm not sure it is. It's a very good try, but it's going to be up to the 38.70. No, it is. Ticked over, flip back. 38.70. Erin Ballard, game over. Is it game over for them all? We'll see, but that has certainly given them something to think about. It only takes 0.09 off Conasuelo's time, but is enough to put them in the lead.
Yeah, fantastic, fantastic performance. Erin can just turn that horse so well, and she just seems to meet the fences perfectly every time, but he can really gallop and turn. That is a seriously exciting horse to look out for. Can't wait to see that horse when she steps it up to the 5-star level. Should be extremely exciting.
James Chalk, Howard Senior for the Ramsey Equestrian. So leading 3 now. Erin Ballard, game over. Conasuelo, Castorano, Patricia Pascal, and Alicia Santa Rosa.
Good turn from James Chalk there, and he's really working hard to get the pace down to the double, and unfortunately didn't make the back rail there. The arms were going, he was giving as much encouragement as he could.
Just going to finish on the 4 at 42.36, fourth James Chalk and Howard de Seigneur. And so takes them down into 7th place so far. 3 left to take a run. Ballard could have done enough with game over, 38.70, well named. Conasuelo in second, 38.79. Those top 3 all on the 38 mark. We've seen a couple of others in a similar time to that.
spicy, but then like a melt.
38.7 then the time to beat. This looked like a very exciting round in round 1 and a good pace in round 1 as well for Jae Hee-jung.
There lands in 23. A little bit of an unsteady run down there, but still good. It's not going to be fast enough to take the lead, but this could be a good finish for them. Now giving it a really chasing run to the last. Has he got there? Yes, he does. It's going to be 41.30 for Jae and Gdansk de Mispelaire.
Looked straight up at the board to see what the time was, because he really did go for it down the that final line as well. Very boldly done.
With 2 rides remaining, we'll see if Sean Cassidy and Engage Central will beat the time of 38.70. Number 110 here in the 4th Grand Prix race.
Not many more to go then, and 38.7 still the time to beat.
Sean Cassidy building a nice partnership up now with this well-established ride of NKH Centre Blue. Newer ride for him though, for the US rider. Of course, with the ability to do this, got to get a good turn in here. This is... they may not have just quite as tight. He's kept it a little bit wider, but can get some good pace up on the long runs. Now he's going to have to go. Good roll back, not going to be too far away, not going to catch our leader I don't think, but if they keep coming down here this should slot them in for a good place and say another good rung on the ladder for them. Just a little unsteady to the last, 40.27 and on the 4, and again just trying to make that run as so many have done, puts them under pressure down to the finish on the 4. 40.27 for Sean Cassidy and NKH Centre Blue. Looking forward to seeing more out of them for the rest of the season though.
Next combination, quite the speed machines. Again, a horse that's great on the turns, great on the clock. It'll be very interesting to see what Jordan does here. Hasn't necessarily had the luck this week. Sees the spot to take one out to fence 2. Oh, shame.
That's going to leave him hopefully with 4. It means Erin Ballard, it is Gale. Oh, no. Not sure he's going to come back to that one. I think he's going to say call it a day. So it is going to be a win for Erin Ballard. And game over. It is well done. Another Canadian win. 2 Grand Prix wins for the Canadians this week. Well done to them. And Erin Ballard will lift this one. Connor Swell second for Ireland with Castorano. Third place to Patrizio Pascal and Alicia Santa Rosa. Korea in third with Jia Hee-jeon and Kadaz van der Mispelaar. Fifth place to Canada and Eric Krowitz and Chicago. Kyle Kingle takes sixth place with Cerolina. Seventh place to Canadian Sambuers and Sheikh Der Mazed. And eighth place to Sean Cassidy and NKH Cento Blue. Canada dominates here on the 50th anniversary of Thunderbird Show Park. Well done, and it is home wins for Tiffany Foster and Erin Ballard. And Erin claiming the last win of the week here in the $38,500 two-star Grand Prix. Presentation for that is on the way. Wraps it up for us too. We'll be back with Major League jumping into August, and the show carries on at this venue too, Internations Cup next week. Wherever you are, good luck. Thank you. Thank you for joining us throughout the week, and have a safe trip wherever you're headed, or if you're just sitting at home, enjoy the rest of whatever time of day it is. We'll see you soon.
Okay, yeah. Right on the horse. Storm, yeah. Jeez.
Welcome back to the Grand Prix Arena for today's CSI 2-Star $38,500 Grand Prix Meter 45 Awards presentation. Joining us in the middle of the ring is Thunderbird Show Park Board Chair and CEO Jane Tidball, Thunderbird Show Park President and Operations Director Lynn Chris Back, and the lovely Lynn Foster. And with that, it's time to get down to the signature wave. In first place, congratulations to our winner. That was Aaron Ballard, and a game over. In second place is Connor Swale and Casarado. And in third place, Patricia Mescal and Alicia Santa Rosa. And with that as our top three here, congratulations to our top three in today's CSI 2-Star for $8,500 Grand Prix Meter 45. A big thank you much to Jane, Chris, and Lynn for presenting our awards. One more time here in the Fort Grand Prix Arena, I'd like to ask our leading rider, Aaron Ballard, and game over to lead us around the ring in today's Victory Ride. Towards the end gate and towards the timber frame, your winner of the CSI 2-Star $38,500 Grand Prix Meter 45. Congratulations to our winner, Aaron Ballard, and game over. Followed by Connor Swale and Casarado. And Patricia Mescal and Alicia Santa Rosa. One more time, let's give it a round of applause to our winner, Aaron Ballard, and game over. We also have placements for our top 8 here. We're going to go to fourth. In fourth place is Detective Megan Mescalia and J.E. Gion, with fifth going to Eric Brown and Chicago Sierra. In sixth place, Kyle King and Sarah Ligo. In seventh place, Samantha Bruce Darnell and Sheik DMSC. And wrapping up our top 8 is Sean Cassidy and
We have a new leader right now.